Smugness is not a good quality. Because we watched Season 6, Episode 13, The Scofflaw. So, Katie.
Hello.
How did you like The Scofflaw?
So, I laughed out loud a couple times, as did you, but I didn't write very much.
I wrote barely anything.
Is that because it was a good episode and we were just watching and enjoying it?
No, I think I was thinking the entire time how the episode wasn't working.
Well, I thought, okay, the beginning, a lot happened with very little dialogue, very quickly. And then there was a point where it was just like, this major storyline, this major storyline, this major storyline, this major storyline. It was like, everyone's going to be in this one. And they're all going to do something big.
Mm-hmm. And none of them intersected, really?
Not really.
They were all just independent things happening in the city of New York.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I just saw a video on Instagram where someone was walking down the sidewalk. I think I sent it to you. And they like step on a bit of crumbly sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And their foot pushes through, it caves in. And then they've got their phone or whatever and they're recording. And they like put it down to the hole. And you can, it is into a man's bathroom. And he's on the toilet, and the chunk of sidewalk has fallen on him.
Is that two clips stitched together?
I don't know.
Oh.
But I kind of believe that it could be true.
all that's above the toilet.
Just like a couple inches of concrete. Yeah. I mean, we watched a lot of How To with John Wilson, and we've seen, I think, a lot of the city.
State of New York.
Yeah, basically.
I don't mean the state of New York. I mean the state of the city of New York.
Yeah.
The state that the city of New York is in.
It's
how
it's
bad and decrepit New York City is.
It's not this squeaky clean LA soundstage of Seinfeld. It's real and it's full of diapers and delivery boxes.
So you're walking down the street and you're trying to find a place to use a washroom. But sometimes you just can't find what you're looking for. So you look in a hole and there's a man on the toilet.
It's a very good John Wilson.
Should we just, after we finish up this podcast, should we start like found footage voiceovers?
Oh my God.
So The Scofflaw was written by Peter Melman. It was directed by Andy Ackerman, and it aired on January 26th, 1995. Both Screen Crush and Vulture.com somewhat in agreement. Screen Crush ranking it as the 100th best episode, and Vulture.com ranking it as the 109th.
Yeah, I agree. Did you like the episode?
No, while we were watching it, I was like, I'm not writing enough notes. And it was,
I just didn't feel like writing stuff about this episode. There wasn't anything noteworthy.
I don't want to get into I don't want to get into it until we're talking about the episode. Yeah. So let's throw it back to last week to see if I remember this one. I don't know.
Well, did you?
I don't think so.
I could tell by the title that I wasn't going to like it.
This episode was on a listicle that I read about Seinfeld episodes that have the wrong title.
Oh.
And they were like, this one should have been called The Toupee.
Sure. Or The Lie.
Sure.
Or The Glasses.
I feel like The Toupee, like what I remember about this episode is George with like the stupid hair looking in the mirror and like fixing it. Then him at the end being all suave and cool. Like those are the things I remember.
Sure.
And I remember like John Lovitz not having cancer.
Mm-hmm. So can we talk about the episode yet? Or are we still doing
you got to do this? You got to do the synopsis.
A friend lies to Jerry and George about having cancer. Elaine tries to get back at her ex-boyfriend. Kramer helps track down a parking scofflaw.
We've been doing this forever.
So I thought that in the end, Gary, aka John Lovitz, would be like, aha! I only told you that I didn't have cancer to prove that you can't keep a secret.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
But that's not what happened.
Nope.
And then George would have gotten his comeuppance, which is what we're expecting. But instead we get suave, sexy George at the end, which we're not expecting.
Can a New York City judge just, what's the word?
Commandeer
a private parking spot? The judge needed it for some. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So who are the guest stars?
Oh, we didn't even do that yet.
I know what we're doing.
We've been doing this forever.
Nearly 100 times.
So we had Wayne Knight coming back and playing Newman. We had Richard Fancy return as Mr. Lipman. We also had Marty Rackham playing Jake Jarmel, the Juji Fruits.
I didn't recognize him.
You didn't recognize him? Do you remember the Juji Fruits?
I remember Juji Fruits. And when Elaine made the face after they said, oh, was it the Juji Fruits? She goes, Juji Fruits. With his sad lower lip.
Mm-hmm. However, we had Barbara Ann Woods playing Debbie.
Who?
She was the chick that George thought was on a date.
Oh, yeah, that was a weird part of it too.
Yep. I don't really think that was needed.
No.
She was in One Tree Hill, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show.
Oh, okay.
As well as the movie Striptease. We had Ivory Ocean playing the role of Officer Morgan. He was in The Mask, A Walk in the Clouds, and City Guys.
The Mask.
He was the mayor in The Mask.
Oh.
We had John Lovitz playing the role of Gary Fogel. He's from SNL, The Critic, and News Radio. When you think of John Lovitz, like, obviously you recognize him. Oh, the wedding singer. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
First. But, you know, SNL, yes. I didn't watch News Radio. What do you recognize him from?
I think probably the thing that I know him from most is The Critic.
Yeah. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
You know, The Critic only had 33 episodes?
Really?
Yeah.
This is a cartoon, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just making sure I'm thinking of the same thing. I didn't watch that either.
I think it was on like after The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So for, I guess, like 2 years maybe? I don't know. We had Danny Breen playing the role of Guy with Glasses, who he looked, I don't know, super familiar to me.
Yeah.
But he's not much of an actor. He was a producer on Whose Line Is It Anyway? And The Wayne Brady Show. And he was a writer on Ellen, the Ellen DeGeneres Show.
Oh, he did look really familiar.
Maybe because he looks like Gopher from Winnie the Pooh.
Uh-huh.
We had this last one. He didn't have a prominent role, but I thought I'd include him. We had Bob Shaw playing the cabbie. We've previously talked about Bob Shaw on this podcast, as he was the writer of the Seinfeld episode, The Tape, and The Chaperone.
Oh, what does he say about revenge? Revenge is good.
All right, well, let's talk about this episode that I have no notes on. I have thoughts, no notes. Many opinions.
I wrote down a couple of things that they said at the beginning because they made me chuckle. You know, at the beginning, even the stand-up wasn't good. Jerry's talking about the strap or like the chain for your glasses.
So in Jerry's mind, okay, chain for your glasses, crutches attached to your waist, and then an elastic band for a toupee are all like
equivalent things.
I don't know. I felt like the toupee I feel like toupee is such an outdated like concept and maybe technology nowadays. Like everybody nowadays would get plugs or they just go bald.
You know what? I have somehow stumbled on toupee Instagram and I've seen some hair systems. Hear me out. That look.
What do they use? Magnets?
I don't actually know. It must be. But do they implant magnets in your head?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
So weird. But there was someone on Instagram who like had funny videos, like reactions to stuff. So that he came up a lot. And then there was one that was like, yeah, I'm in my 30s. I'm single. I'm trying to meet people. And I'm going to be honest. And he like pulls his hair off. And he's like, I'm bald and I wear a toupee.
Oh, yeah. For a while, there was, I feel like a couple months ago, there was a whole like slew of videos that I was getting about guys revealing that they were bald.
So like, you're on toupee Instagram too.
I'm not anymore.
Toupee talk.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a thing. It was like male empowerment.
Yeah. Like, you know, men
as
needed
is needed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if plugs are the thing or if there's like something else that's the thing now. I don't know. Any balds out there that are listening, just like let us know what the new
way to dehumanize
hair technology is.
our bald listeners.
Eh,
I also think that just shaving off what's left and owning it is the new thing.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
If I were to lose my hair, that's what I'd do.
Yeah. You wouldn't.
You just looked directly at my head when I said that.
If.
And you frowned. If. I have often thought about, this is a bit of a tangent, but I've often thought about like getting into an argument with someone and somebody like insulting me. And that would just like roll off my back. No big deal. Not a big, like.
What?
If somebody was like angry at me and they were insulting me.
Yeah.
That wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't cause me any like.
Okay.
But if they were like, if they called me like bald because it's wrong, I would be more upset and argue back with them more than them being like.
So in your imaginary arguments that you're having, the worst thing someone could say to you is that you're bald?
No, something that's incorrect.
But wouldn't it be even easier to ignore because it's factually untrue? If they went at your insecurities and you're like, "Oh yeah, that one like internally that gets me," wouldn't that be harder to get over than if they're like, "Hey, one leg"?
No, but if
you're
they,
like,
I think
no,
they're
but
like,
I have two legs. So why would
that would be so much more frustrating, wouldn't it? They're like, what are you talking about? I have two legs. So the glasses string on to keep them around your neck.
Yeah.
Like an old lady playing canasta.
Well, he's discounting reading glasses. Or like, those are your distance glasses and you don't need them for reading or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you do have to take them off. We were at a wedding and people were misplacing their glasses all over the place.
All the old people were like, "Oh, I can't read this. Can I borrow your reading glasses?"
Yeah, and they're just
try these.
They're just passing them around. Yeah. What, you need like a plus 0.75 or something? Like
you need a jeweler's tool.
A loop.
Then we have the scene where Kramer's like out on the street,
mm-hmm.
And somebody throws a bunch of trash out their window, and he screams, "Hey, pig!"
I'm the trash man. I come in, I throw trash around the ring.
That'd be a good gimmick for you. This is an aside. Did you know that Danny DeVito was a voice in Disney's Hercules?
Hercules. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't think I've really seen it either. I saw a clip.
We just saw The Emperor's New Groove like a couple months ago.
Because you kept seeing Paul the Lava Crank.
Yeah.
Instagram out there, the power of social media, selling a 20-year-old Disney movie. Anyways, I'm going to do everybody's favorite thing to do in a podcast where I'm going to tell a story that happened to somebody else.
Okay, go.
So Steve Dangle has told the story on his podcast where it was like New Year's Eve or hockey playoffs or something, but he was like out all night downtown with like a huge group of people. And he was like walking home at the end of the night. It was like 6 a.m. and like wafting through the air, you can smell somebody's cooking, bacon, or they're walking by a restaurant, somebody's cooking bacon. He just goes, "Do you smell bacon?" And then he looks to his right and a cop is standing there who got so mad at him.
See, you'd think that cops would not care about this oink oink cops are pigs joke.
Because it's not true. It's factually incorrect.
That's why they do get mad about it?
So I think I can see why, because it's like the person saying it is, I'm saying something that I'm trying to insult you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that this is the worst thing that I can say about you. And cops are like the whole brotherhood, the thin blue line. Like, yeah. It's a very prideful job. They think they're wolves, not sheep.
Okay. They're wolves?
Oh, you haven't seen this whole thing?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly no. What are firefighters? I know cops hate firefighters.
I don't know.
I'm getting this info from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
The firefighters are...
sheep?
No. You can cut this out, but like they show like police training where the guy is like trying to indoctrinate them. He's like, you are the wolves out there and everybody else is the sheep and you have to be vigilant and be on watching the flock and making sure.
That doesn't make any sense. Then there's the sheepdogs.
But being a wolf is cooler than being a sheepdog.
Okay. Was he on his deathbed?
No, just his regular bed.
I laughed at that, and I laughed at the next line when Jerry goes, he swore me to secrecy. So? You're not my wife. And this recurring, I'm not Jerry's wife. Like, I love that anything that anyone tells me, it's automatically going to go to you, and it's accepted.
Yep.
And well, nobody tells you anything, so I don't hear anything through you.
I tell you everything that happens to me.
I don't know if there's secrets.
Okay.
You don't have good gossip.
No, I don't.
You don't trust my poker face? Have you ever won at poker? That leads to later on, which was a very funny part where Gary has told George that he didn't have cancer.
Sure.
And George goes over to Jerry's and he's trying to maintain his poker face and Jerry breaks him down.
So I think that the scene on its surface was very funny, and like watching George squirm, not wanting to reveal the secret, Jerry chastising him. What, you got, a pair of bullets? Two pair? 3 pair? You're sitting on a flush? Oh my God, you got a full house.
Yeah.
You know, really funny, great like acting, George revealing what happened. George Costanza, noted liar, lies all the time.
Yeah.
And then they even in this episode make reference to how the only person who could pull this off
is George.
Would be George, meaning he can keep a secret. And
well,
so I was just thinking,
no, that's different.
I think lying is keeping the secret of it, the truth.
He's lying to create an aura of something better around him. Like he's an architect.
You still have to keep a poker face when you're lying. It's a lie.
I don't think so.
If you believe it's true.
Wouldn't it be, it's not a lie if you believe it's true?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Well, he admits, Gary says, I've been living a lie. And George goes, just one? I'm living like 20. And I maintain that lying about yourself and being asked to hold something in confidence for someone else is different.
Yeah, okay. I could buy that that's the difference.
If he found out that someone else was living a lie, he would not be able to shut up about it.
But he can pretend to be an architect to sleep with women.
But also, he's not, his close friends know that those are all lies. Like, he's not lying to them.
Maybe he is carrying around a secret. Actually, in the canon of Seinfeld, we will eventually find out that currently George is keeping a secret.
Currently, as in season 6, he has a secret?
Yes.
Oh, when are we going to find this out?
In the finale.
Oh, I'll forget by then.
Yeah, you'll forget by next week.
Yep. So I didn't notice the cop's eye patch the first time in the scene where Kramer calls him a pig. Maybe because it was on the other side. It was also so short and like such a weird scene.
These are all like a quarter of an idea.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be funny if Kramer wants to change his image?
Pitches.
And
all
he
right.
sees a cop walking down the street with an eye patch. And he gets an eye patch because he wants to be a pirate. It's a throwback to the puffy shirt.
Yeah. So he says, I want to be a pirate. And then you laughed when he fell into the booth because he couldn't see.
Only because he knocked over the Coke that was there. And like when Kramer falls over, you know, it's like physical comedy, but I don't think he meant to spill the Coke.
Oh, okay. I think that was a genuine. I wanted to comment on some things. This is like peak fluffy hair Jerry. It's super big, super long, super wide.
Oh, we can go more peak.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
What was Gary doing when he asked to see Jerry's fillings?
I don't know. Maybe he was, because Jerry doesn't know, or he's not supposed to know that he didn't have cancer. So he's like, I'm going to get my amalgam fillings replaced because it's not good for your health. And I care about my health now.
Gotcha.
I think that's what it was.
I thought he was just a crazy person.
Also true. And the woman in the car, I don't care to know her name. Why is she in this episode? She's wearing a turtleneck and a collared shirt and a jacket with a huge collar.
Clearly, she didn't think it was a date.
I guess not. But why would you... The way she's talking to him, she's like, I can't believe you reached out to me. You know,
Yeah.
like she's talking in a flirty voice.
Yeah.
And she doesn't think this is a date. Where are they going? And she's in love with Gary? This makes no sense.
Do they ever establish how Jerry or George know Gary?
No.
Just like, I've been trying to call you for months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do you think Gary is trying to be like Jerry? Because he's got, has fluffy hair. He's wearing like a pink button-up shirt with the top button undone.
Do you think they just didn't have wardrobe for a guest star and they just gave him one of Jerry's old shirts?
No, I think he's trying to be cool like Jerry.
What do you think about that, Jack?
So I did laugh in the toupee shop when George is wearing the rug and he asks Jerry how he looks. And he says, I really can't say because it reminded me of your dad.
Sure, yeah. It's a great line to use when you don't want to tell somebody something bad.
But your dad says, I can't honestly say.
Can't honestly say, yeah.
I use that a lot. I've also told people that I use that a lot. So when I say it, they know what I'm doing. And then he goes, you look stupid. And gets in an argument with the toupee man and goes says how ridiculous they are. And
no offense to you personally.
Yeah.
That was a good ending line.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, that guy did look stupid.
Yeah. So I looked up what a whip is.
Oh, what does a whip do?
A whip ensures party discipline. It's less of I think what I read was in parliamentary systems, they have more power. And in the US, they have considerably less power because senators and Congress people have big donors. And so the whip is supposed to make sure you vote on party lines. Or they hand out issue sheets on this one, we're going to vote this. On this one, we're going to vote this. But if you've got huge donors or really vocal constituents, you are more likely to vote how they would want.
Did this conversation between George and Kramer have anything to do with anything? Or was it?
According to my notes, no.
Totally non sequitur.
Yeah. Also, the House of Cards series was based on a British book about parliamentary whip.
Oh.
Whip. So I didn't watch it, but you did. He's the party whip.
He starts off as the party whip, yeah.
Did you know it was a British book?
I don't know, maybe. I stopped watching that after things came to light.
Uncomfortableness? Yeah.
Also, Kevin Spacey can't throw a baseball.
It's a baseball show?
No, there's a scene where he's throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game, and the night before he's practicing so he doesn't look stupid. And I just feel like they could have gotten somebody to just be I don't know if he was trying to
still look stupid,
to look stupid, but it was really bothering me. And it's one of whenever anybody talks about House of Cards,
that's what you see.
I see Kevin Spacey just very daintily throwing a baseball. So Mr. Lipman starting a publishing company and is going to offer Elaine a job.
This is a plot hole for me because I know Elaine's trying to get in good with Lipman, but she has to know that if he's launching Jake Jarmel's book, he's going to see him in the glasses and it's going to backfire.
Yeah, sure.
So I just think that was lazy writing.
Yeah. Also, if he's signing copies of the book in the bookstore, hasn't it already been published? I'm not part of the book industry.
Yeah.
But I think publishing comes before signing of the books at a bookstore.
It's been published, but I think Littman is speaking to a room of reporters and book professionals. So maybe it's a press tour. I don't know.
But he's I haven't started my company once I get this book deal.
I see. I don't know. I don't understand. But I just thought of a way that I could fix that plot hole. He's talking to Elaine at the cafe and she's wearing the glasses and then she takes them off to look at the menu or something because she doesn't actually need glasses or to look at something far away and leaves them on the table and she leaves and he picks them up and he's puts them on. He's
yeah, sure.
Yeah, that fixes it.
A little bit. I still think it's a dumb storyline.
From Malaysia.
I just feel this is kind of lazy writing.
Do you think Well, I mean, this is the 99th episode. They're like, we get to 100, we're syndicated.
We just need this one to get us over the line.
Yeah.
What does anybody have?
The next one's going to be a clip show. We can all take a break for a couple weeks from writing.
So is there any intersection between Jerry and George's story and Elaine's story?
No.
Is there any intersection of Jerry and George's story with Kramer's story?
No. They only mention them in passing in Jerry's apartment.
And the only thing that like Kramer did in Elaine's story was he went down to the bookstore. Why did he want to go and talk to Jake Jarmel originally? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I don't remember either. Why did he go down there?
I think this is a good episode we'd remember. We literally watched it
30 minutes ago.
Within an hour, and we've already forgotten. Is that a statement on us?
No. Well, no. It's a bad episode. I did like when Gary came into the toupee shop for an adjustment and the man leaves and he says, I can't give you the parking spot anymore. The judge commandeered it, whatever. And then Jerry and George have their unspoken look and nod with the pursed lips. That made me laugh.
I think you probably could have stretched out this toupee friend lying about cancer storyline into a bigger episode and made it.
Yeah, taken out Kramer's story entirely.
Maybe like had more of Jerry having to interact with Gary and not being able to tell him.
Like one
and
more
like getting
thing.
frustrated and more frustrated and more frustrated. And then finally him being like, George, I can't give you that parking spot. And like, then Jerry's ready.
Yes,
to, like,
then there's a
blow,
release.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then the final scene, George comes into the cafe and knocks on the cashier's counter, talks to, is that the woman or is that just another woman sitting there at the table?
That's another woman.
Oh, okay.
So how's your life?
How's your life? She pushes out a chair for him with her foot. And then the episode ends.
In the Wikipedia article, they say where Jerry got that line. It was from like, I don't know, some rock star apparently used it.
Oh.
How's your life?
It's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Sorry, the episode doesn't end there. It ends with the press conference and I have to go look for some socks. I mean, I guess that was pretty good too. I don't know. I'm always a fan of Elaine. So,
sometimes when we talk about what happens in the Seinfeld episodes, I ask if like you've ever been in that situation. So like, I can't ask if you've ever worn a toupee, but have you ever worn wigs?
Then will you wear wigs? I have some corrections.
Okie dokie.
So last week you lost your mind over Cleto Augusto.
Great name. Uh-huh.
And I guessed it was Italian for Cletus.
Sure.
I was wrong. It's Greek for Cletus.
Oh, close.
I was right about...
Sorry, Italians.
Felix Potvin going to the Islanders.
Oh, yeah. I looked this up too.
He went in 1998 after the Highliner jersey years. Otherwise, perfection. Guess what?
What?
Next week is our 100th episode.
Oh, yeah.
We made it, baby.
Syndication. We just needed this one to get us over the line.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
I don't know. Assume the checks will start rolling in.
Uh-huh. Because we didn't set up that P.O. box.
They're being held in a sorting facility somewhere. We are going to have a live episode.
I'm going to have a hand cramp after endorsing all these checks for 3 cents.
Someday I'll get that reference. Yeah.
We're going to do a live episode?
We're doing it live.
I didn't agree to that.
I believe you did. We have special Close Talkers 100th episode whiskey to drink.
Yeah.
Other surprises.
Are there?
There might be. It's a surprise.
Okie dokie. All right. Well, I'll see you for episode 100.
Yeah. Check our social media and there might be things. Hold on.
Okie dokie. So Monday, October 2nd, 2023, live on YouTube or some other...
No, on YouTube, yes.
On YouTube. Close Talkers 100th episode.
Join us. Join the chat.
We're just gonna talk.
We're gonna talk.
No video, right?
Undetermined.
Okie dokie.
You can tell we put a whole lot of thought into this. We only had literally 100 weeks to think about what to do. You know why we're disorganized? It's a clip show.
Yeah, this isn't the best episode.
No.
So, okie dokie.
But ours will be. It's not the best Seinfeld episode. Ours is going to be great.
This is not a guarantee.
Bye.
Bye. Believe it or not, this is our podcast. Please subscribe at the end. If you subscribed, we would be happy. Please subscribe to us. Believe it or not, it's our podcast.
Is that a Seinfeld reference?